Hi, this is a Twilight Struggle AAR with me playing as the USSR. So I start off with an EU safe build, and I see my opponent starts with 3 in West Germany, 1 in France, 3 in Italy, which could possibly mean a Marshall Plan opening. I don't have any cards which can attack that opening start, like socialist governments, so I open up with Arab-Israeli war. Yep, the Marshall Plan build does suck a bit because I do have NATO in my hand, but it should be okay. I get the coup off on Iran, clearing, and my Arab-Israeli war succeeds, clearing the US from Middle East. He coups Syria, strangely, and fails, which could possibly mean he has Middle East scoring. So I take that to note. However, he does end up putting points into Europe to get domination and putting points into Malaysia, which I am able to coup using duck and cover, which protects Asia under DEFCON shield as well. I seal off Southeast Asia, knowing how hard it is for the US to contest it now because they don't have the cards to really push in. I start to put a lot more points into the Middle East and Asia, knowing full well that they're going to be scored in the next 2 rounds. So turn 1 ends with me at the score line at +9 or +7, so it does look bad for me, but I can score Asia and Middle East, so I'm still good right now. So turn 2, I do have CIA created in my hand, which really sucks, and I headline it knowing that it is DEFCON 4. I'd still have time, but I'd rather get it out of the way because I have a pretty strong hand with lots of 4s and 3s. It does get defected, which is the best case scenario, and I coup Panama to bring it DEFCON down to 3. He coups Iran unsuccessfully, and looks like I'm sitting pretty. I start to push points into Asia to score more, and then I see the US player put points into Syria, paying full price, and which pretty much means he's got the Middle East scoring card. So using my suspected point advantage, I start to lock down all of Middle East. So I do have a very safe hand. It was very good. It's pretty much a no-brainer. I had UN intervention for the NORAD, which allows me to pretty much outpoint him, and as you can see, I've blocked off the Middle East and all the openings, leaving pretty much just Israel to score points off. It allows me to safely score Asia, and the point score is now to -9 because he did have the Middle East scoring card. So at turn 3, I open with Charles de Gaulle, knowing full well that Europe is the only place where I'm going to be leaking points, and I allow him to get the coup off by using the US-Japanese pact to put points into France. So at least in the Europe scoring, I'll be getting +1. I start to after Comic-Con, I start to fight for Europe. So I use my socialist governments to start clearing points from Turkey, Greece, and 1 point into West Germany to make him use his next card to put ops rather than use the ability. He has UN intervention for decolonization, which is a shame because that would be great to put lots of points into Africa with, but it's okay. And I start to fight for Europe here, using as many cards as I can just to dump the points. I do still have the CIA created, and I am a bit afraid of 5-year plan, but I do have the China card, and I'll be anticipating 5-year plan grain sales next turn. So I'll choose to keep the China card just for that. So Europe is fought for pretty well, but I did not end up having enough points to get domination, and it only scores 1. So in turn 4, I do have CIA still and VOA, which is a pretty terrible hand, but I do have Asia scoring, which I score really early. I coup Egypt. So I'm sitting very well at around -17 right now because of that gigantic scoring of Asia. However, the US player does get a firm control of Africa without without any cards for me to really fight for it. Decolonization's out, and any of the other cards, such as Portuguese and South African unrest, can easily be used to counteract it. My hand is pretty much filled with 2 ops cards, but I do have one small step to really threaten space race push. However, it gets countered, and OPEC is thrown away by the US player. Using my sparse resources, I try to fight for where I could. I could have possibly put points into Central America, but I'd rather not invoke coup war there because of my lots of 2 ops cards. I don't have the firepower to back it up. However, the game ends because he ended up having the Southeast Asia scoring card. So that's my game.